Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, and Jolie Atwood with the community calendar. And if my director could turn on the air conditioner in the studio, I'd appreciate it. Burlington Police Chief Michael Kent reports that there is no danger to the public following an alleged sexual assault in the area of Burlington's Mill Pond Reservoir. At 4:30 p.m. on August 13th, Burlington Police received a 911 call from a woman stating she had been sexually assaulted on the side of the road near the intersection of Peach Orchard Road and Arborwood Drive. Several individuals stopped to assist the woman, and upon arrival, officers found her in a passerby's car. Witnesses stated that they had found the woman nude in the middle of the street and that someone had fled the area on foot. The woman was transported to the hospital for evaluation. Burlington Police, the State Police Air Wing, the Northeastern Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council, or better known as NEMLAC, as well as officers from Woburn and Wilmington Police Departments searched the wooded area abutting the reservoir in the area around Peach Orchard Road until approximately 7:30 p.m. when the area was cleared. Approximately 10 canines participated in the search. 3 people were transported after a single vehicle rollover crash was reported at the corner of Mall Road and South Bedford Street around noon on Wednesday. Fire Chief Patterson said the driver and 2 passengers were brought to the hospital by ambulance with non-life-threatening injuries. He said he was not sure of the ages of the passengers. The accident did not involve another vehicle. Instead, Patterson said it appeared the vehicle hit the curb on the sidewalk and flipped over. The cause of the accident was not immediately clear, but Chief Patterson said police are investigating. The vehicle landed next to a parking lot used by the Mall Road Knowledge Beginners Daycare Center. Fortunately, Patterson said the parking lot was mostly empty as the center is closed due to the pandemic. We are grateful that the parking lot of the daycare was mostly empty, he said. This could have been worse if it had been at full capacity. Finally, Chief Patterson said that when the initial call came in, it was for an extraction, meaning somebody was trapped inside the vehicle. However, when the ambulance arrived, all 3 people were outside of the vehicle. The Burlington Police Department is warning that cars were broken into in neighboring Woburn last night near the Burlington line. Woburn had a number of car breaks last night near the Burlington line in a Winter Street and Peach Orchard area, the department posted on Facebook. We have had at least 1 report on McGuire Road. Police said that if your car was broken into last night, or if you have any video or helpful information, to call them at 781-272-1212. They also warned residents to take preventative measures to help protect their property. Also, please lock your car doors, they wrote. The overwhelming majority of motor vehicle breaks we have had for the past decade have been overnight breaks of unlocked cars in their driveways. This has also been the case around the country. Burlington Against Racism is seeking the support of the school committee on a town meeting warrant article to fund a full-time director of equity and inclusion in Burlington Public Schools. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak has this report.
Racial tensions have been brought to the fore in 2020, and the organization Burlington Against Racism has been working with the Burlington Public Schools Equity Committee and is seeking the support of the school committee to fund a full-time director of equity and inclusion in Burlington Public Schools.
This is a senior level position that would be full-time. It would entail many facets within the school and also in the community. So this position would support students and learning, and we want to make sure that this position is seen as a priority and that the school committee will endorse moving forward with this. You know, our statistics are that 35% of our students identify as non-white, and our teaching staff does not reflect that. There are some town meeting members who are submitting the warrant to the school committee to prorate and fund this position so that when we get this position hired, therefore the funds will come from the town reserves for this year, and then moving forward would be part of the school budget. It's becoming very prevalent as a common position for schools, and even some towns are having these positions posted where they're managing a diversity, equity, and inclusion department within a town. And this is an opportunity for us to show our community how much we actually care about our students.
I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
The proposed position was the subject of a lengthy discussion at the August 18th school committee meeting. Members said they're in favor of creating the position, but had some issues with the proposed method of doing so. They also expressed concern about adding a new position to the budget during a time when the strength of school department finances are unknown due to the impact of the pandemic on local taxes and state aid. Here is Chair Christine Monaco expressing those concerns.
I think that we do need this position. I think it's very important to have it, but I don't think this is the right time. I think we need to budget for it, because let's say it passes and it's $81,000 according to what Martha just sent me, that means that unless that's added to our budget, that's $81,000 of next year's budget that we've already committed to, plus an increase because it would be the second year.
Yep.
We also don't know what's going to happen with this year.
Right.
And so we have positions that we haven't filled yet, custodial positions and clerical positions. And, this is a weird year to put someone into that position and with the possibility that we'll be out of school for 3 months. It simply doesn't make sense to me.
In the end, the committee decided to take it up again at their next meeting and asked Superintendent Conti and Assistant Superintendent Larkin to gather more information for them to consider. Unfortunately, the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce has furloughed its staff after seeing a significant dip in revenue due to the pandemic. Board of Directors co-chair Sonia Rollins said in a letter to members, the board made the difficult decision to pare back effective August 21st. Sonia Rollins said the chamber had been working hard to support its members during the economic shutdown, and she and other board members were proud of the work the staff had been able to accomplish. She said the board is grateful for the efforts and endless hours their professional staff, President Rick Parker and his team of Katie O'Connor and Debbie Patterson have put in during these difficult economic times. Rollins outlined some of the work done by the team during the pandemic and subsequent shutdown. This includes delivering information to members through virtual training, virtual networking events, government affairs, and charitable work, among other activities. We also spoke with President Rick Parker. You can find the full story on our website at bcattv.org. This is an indeed unfortunate event since Rick Parker and his staff have been contributing members to the community and tireless workers on behalf of their members. With the upcoming state primary and presidential election, democracy is in full swing, but against the backdrop of a pandemic, Town Clerk Amy Warfield explains the various ways to vote in the September 1 state primary and November 3 presidential election in the time of the coronavirus. Let's have a look.
Voting in 2020 looks very different than in previous years. Rather than everyone lining up in their precinct lines while chatting with neighbors and old acquaintances, the focus will be on social distancing and safety. Fortunately, there are multiple ways to vote this year in both the September 1st state primary and the November 3rd presidential election in an effort to make the process both efficient and safe.
For these elections this fall, there are 3 ways you can handle voting. One would be to get a vote by mail ballot. And to do that, you can either come to the steps of Town Hall here, fill out an application and drop it in our drop box, and then we will mail out the ballot to you. All ballots can be returned here through the drop box as well, or you can put it in the regular mail.
Voting early is also an option, though this year, rather than taking place at Town Hall, it will be held in the Grandview Farm.
The second way for voting this fall will be through in-person early voting. And again, we will be doing that for September, the week before the September election, and for the November election, it will be the 2 weeks before the November election.
And then, of course, there's always voting on Election Day.
The third way you can vote is the traditional way. You can come out to the polls on Election Day, either September 1st or for the presidential November 3rd at the Burlington High School in the gyms.
For those who do vote in person, there will be safety measures in place to protect both them and the poll workers.
In our in-person voting, we will still be following all of the state guidelines. We do request that all voters wear masks, and you will be kept social distancing from each other, the 6 feet between each one of the voters. All of the election workers will be wearing masks and gloves so that we're being safe for everyone.
From Burlington Town Hall, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hospital.
So Amy and the staff of the town clerk's office are doing everything humanly possible to make the election day a success with those 3 different ways in which you can cast your ballot before or after the election. So there's no excuse for people not to be casting their ballot on election day. Successfully running an election takes a lot of work, and town clerks can't do it alone. In this edition of Government 101 with Town Clerk Amy Warfield, we take a look at the role of poll workers and how people can get involved with their town's elections.
Hi, I'm Amy Warfield, the town clerk. I'm here to talk today about what does it take to be a poll worker. For every election that we have in Burlington, we need a wide variety of election workers or poll workers. There are basically 3 primary positions that's broken into. Our precincts, in every precinct, there is a warden, a clerk, and then a number of checkers, depending on the type of election that it is. The warden's job is mainly to make sure that all of the activity in the precinct that day is run according to the regulations and the laws that we have in Massachusetts. Their assistant is the clerk, who helps them facilitate all of those pieces depending on whatever might happen in that day. And then the checkers are the ones that actually greet you when you come in and help you get through the booths and the process. And then that's the person that you'll see oftentimes at the voting machine, and make sure that you put your ballot into the machine properly so that it can be read. We try to train all of our election workers. What that training entails is getting a chance to look at what do I do on a voter list? How do I check people in? If we're having a primary, making sure that people know to ask for what party the ballot people need and to make sure that they are given the proper ballot. You may wonder if you're eligible to be an election worker. Anyone over the age of 18, as long as they are a registered voter in the town of Burlington, can be an election worker. We can also use some 16 and 17-year-olds in every precinct as basically trainers or assistant checkers to work alongside a full-age checker or a clerk. If you're interested in becoming an election worker, what you can do is go onto our website at burlington.org and fill out the application that's there available under the clerk's page. Or you could give us a call at 781-270-1660, and we will be glad to send you out an application. We are oftentimes looking for new election workers, but most of the people that we do have find it to be a very rewarding and exciting opportunity and a way that you can participate in the movement forward of democracy.
If you've been on the Burlington Common lately or driven by Bedford and Center Street, you've probably noticed Burlington's newest 8-foot resident. Burlington's big brown dog is what its sculptor Dale Rogers calls the American dog breed. Rogers' American dog sculptures are on display throughout New England. The most recognized American dog is the 16-foot tall version on Route 495 South at exit 48. According to Dale's website, the American dog has proven to be his strongest and most iconic sculpture to date. The work strikes such a strong emotional appeal that many people tell Rogers it looks exactly like their particular breed of dog. Burlington's Canine Companion is part of the new Burlington Sculpture Park, located on Center Street in the area between the Grandview Farm and the police station. The American Dog is located across from the sculpture park on the corner of the town common. And if you like the big dog sculpture, you may get to name it. The Burlington Sculpture Park Committee is holding a Name the Big Dog contest. Participants can fill out the form before September 20th to be entered to win. The winning family will get a t-shirt or get t-shirts and a professional photo session with the big dog. You can find a link to the contest form on our website at bcattv.org/bnews. The India Association of Greater Boston met with the Burlington Board of Selectmen to declare Indian Independence Day a national holiday in the town of Burlington, complete with hoisting of the Indian flag. BNews reporter John Vias was there and has this look.
The day is August 15th, 1947. India declares independence from 200 years of British colonialism, as the struggle for freedom was a long and tiresome one, witnessing the sacrifices of many brave fighters, laying their lives on the line for the freedom of their country. 74 years later, Indian Independence Day is celebrated religiously throughout the country on that same day each year, and has made its way to the town of Burlington, Massachusetts. The India Association of Greater Boston came together with the Board of Selectmen on the town common to celebrate this unforgettable milestone in world history.
It was a long journey to come to that Independence Day. So I know we are celebrating the 74th Independence Day, but at the same time, this is the day of remembrance of how we got here and how hard it was to get. And that's why it just makes it so special. For Indian Association of Greater Boston, the mission really has been to foster the cultural, social, and keeping that pride alive in this land, adopted land of ours. That is the mission of IAGB.
Selectman Vice Chairman Jim Tigges read a proclamation celebrating human equality and cultural diversity, honoring Burlington's Indian community that continues to grow each day, declaring Indian Independence Day as a national day of observance within the town.
Anytime someone is important to us, they're all our neighbors, all our friends. If it's significant or important to any resident, the town, the Board of Selectmen, we'll try to acknowledge everything we can for whatever the occasion is.
Burlington is home to many friends and neighbors. There have been multiple ways the town has celebrated the culture and heritage of India, with a wonderful group of friends and neighbors, a part of our community that will live on for many generations to come.
I just wanted to point out, Vishali and her husband Rahul are actually my neighbors. They live a couple of doors down. And again, this shows you that our town is so diverse. We all just get along so well. We all just fit, and that's the way things should be. It doesn't matter where you're from, what religion you believe in. Burlington embraces diversity. We all fit together, and I love that about this town.
We are all diverse, but it's not a melting pot. We have our own identities, and yet we take pride in representing ourselves as well as respect what others bring there. With all that is going around in the world, I just feel absolutely fortunate to be here and be in such an atmosphere where everybody feels welcome and everybody feels respected and everybody's just so kind.
You can catch the full ceremony coming soon to BCAT's public channel. Check back on our website for more information at bcattv.org. From the Burlington Town Common, this is John Vias for BNews Weekly, saying namaste.
A wheel that was created for the first time by great Emperor.
As schools decide how they want to approach the reopening in the fall, the MIAA is figuring out the safest way to return the athletes and coaches to the playing field. BNews sports reporter Robert Paris spoke with BHF Athletics Director Sean Hart and has this report.
As we enter the month of August, one thing is on everyone's mind. How will children return to school? Questions that are still up in the air at the moment. If students shall return to the classrooms in September, what will the sports season entail? This week I spoke with BHS Athletic Director Sean Hart about the fall plan for Red Devil athletes and how games and practices will be affected.
So right now we're in phase 3 of the governor's plan, which again all summer long has allowed some of the youth athletic programs to come online and in a very measured way. And we are awaiting still, as a high school and the Department of Education, we are still awaiting the final wishes of the governor to figure out how we're going to go back to school and how we will proceed with athletics in the fall.
Sean is also a part of the board of directors on the MIAA, and a couple weeks ago, they voted on having a fall season start date on September 14th.
It didn't make any sense to have athletes here weeks before school started, before schools made the decisions. So I thought it was a good, sound decision to move everything forward. Even with the Massachusetts Teachers Association and all the negotiating that's going on with those guys and things like that, I think it was just a sound decision to move everything forward, let kids get situated, let teachers get situated, let coaches get situated in school, and then have athletes come back and understand that there are going to be some things that we have to do to make everybody safe.
A number of precautions and new protocols will be taking place for all sports when they return to the field.
So right now, the guidelines that the youth sports are following, I think, will be amplified a bit when we get back to school. So we're going to have our regular precautions that have to go in place just to have kids back in the buildings. Hand washing, social distancing, masks will be worn everywhere. I mean, that will be a new world order, if you will, with athletics. You're going to see kids out here playing in masks and things like that, and even equipment is being changed. All of those things are still on the table. Nothing is off the table yet. I think that's the biggest question. All of those things are going to be written into our plans and how we move forward with the fall season, if we in fact get to play a fall season.
Although Sean wants to see every athlete compete again, the department must take these precautions to ensure a safe and healthy athletic season.
I think it's going to be about being vigilant. You know, I mean, I feel like, there's no letdown in your guard. I feel that being on some of those committees that I'm on in the MIA, it's tremendously important for us to, if you're going to move forward, you have to be able to check off 10 boxes that got you there. And I think that that's been important. And I think that making sure that we're going along the way in the proper way and slowing down and making sure we're not skipping any steps is a big to-do. If you want to keep things here going in a positive manner, then we need to make sure that we're all rowing in the same direction and we're all on the same boat here and moving in the same direction. And I feel like we have a great staff here, so I think we'll be okay.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
In other sports news, the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department was able to hold its annual Rahanis Open Tennis Tournament with some precautions against the coronavirus. Once again, we go to BNews sports reporter Robert Paris for the lowdown.
It was a busy morning as participants headed to Rahanis Park to attend the Rahanis Park Open, co-sponsored by the Burlington Parks and Rec Department.
We got the Rahanis Open again this year. It's a little modified just because of the other restrictions going on. We were still able to run the tournament this year with 4 courts, as you can see. Everybody's practicing their social distance. So it's a limited tournament this year, but we were happy to still have it.
Due to the CDC guidelines released earlier in the summer, the event was postponed to the middle of August.
So usually, as last year we did it in July, so we tried to do it earlier, but we talked with the rec department and we decided to wait till August to see how phase 3 was going and to make sure everything met the guidelines and yeah.
As we adjust to this new normal, we must not forget that we are all in this together.
It's tough on everybody. It's a new normal, and being able to play tennis makes it better. So,
from Rahanis Park, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Parks and Recreation Director Brendan Egan also spoke with us this week about all the latest developments for this week's Parks and Recreation update. Let's take a look.
Summer is slowly winding down here in New England, and the Burlington Parks and Rec Department is getting ready for September. This week I had another conversation with Parks and Rec Director Brendan Egan for the COVID-19 update. One of the biggest things the department is working on is the upcoming fall programs.
Our program staff is hard at work now, planning out the fall activities. We will not be printing a brochure. It will be a digital brochure that will be available online. And just keep an eye out on our social media, and you'll see when that's released. But again, they are working currently on programs. The guidance we got from the state for summer programs is what we're using for guidelines for our programs. We're going to have a mix of both virtual and in-person programming, and we're excited about it. We're also working on reimagining all of our fourth quarter special events. So that's our special events that go from September to December. So we will have, more information on those as well.
The department is looking forward to the fall, and their number one priority is to keep the staff and community safe.
From the program staff to the seasonal staff, both on the program and maintenance side, and the maintenance full-time staff and the office staff, stayed the course and continue to work hard to make sure that the Burlington residents get everything that they're used to getting.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown to see what's in store for the week ahead. We'll also check out the community calendar with Jolie Atwood to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. And I know it's hard to believe we are heading into the tail end of August, heading towards September, so summer is definitely in its twilight period right now. But we have some great weather coming up, and if you're looking again for some nice, comfortable weather, this is going to be a great forecast for all of you out there. Now, as we look at the start of our period in our almanac on August 20th, we should be seeing temperatures in the low 80s, actually getting down to about 80 at this time of the year, and that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing for the next 7 days. And as we go ahead a little bit later in the forecast, we'll see Saturday will probably be the only hot day out of the next 7 days. As we round out our period, getting into August 26, wow, we are almost to September, hard to believe. Temperatures again should be around 80 at this time of the year, and that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing. Now, of course, if you've been going out at all the past few nights, over the past couple of weeks as well, you can definitely notice how much shorter the days are getting. So that's definitely a sign that fall is on its way. So let's go ahead and take a look at the temperature and precip chances that the Climate Prediction Center is predicting for us coming up for the next 7 days. And again, starting out with our look at temperatures, it looks like here there's a small chance here in our area, in the Burlington area, and most of southeastern New England that we might see slightly above average temperatures. That'll probably be for our weekend, but other than that, it looks like it's going to be pretty average around here. If you're going out west, though, that is where the real big-time heat is. Just for a little bit of information, Death Valley the other day hit 130 degrees and hasn't done that for nearly 100 years. So sizzling if you're going out there, but really nice here. Now, as we go ahead and look at our precip chances coming up for the next 7 days, looks like, again, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us to have a little bit above average precipitation, but they also called for that last week, and it really didn't materialize. We had 4 or 5 nice, cool, cloudier days, but not really much rain. Only about 1/10 of an inch came out of the clouds, so we definitely need to hope that some more beneficial rain is on its way. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast, and again, starting out on Thursday, looks like we're going to be seeing those nice temperatures in the low 80s. Pretty chilly if you're going out there at night, and going out early to work, maybe on Friday morning, temperatures way down in the 50s again, so a little bit of a fall feeling. And as we start to head into the weekend, though, we're going to see our temperatures ramp up to almost to near 90 by Saturday, so a little bit humid, a little bit hot out there. But as we then head into Sunday through the end of the period, looking out towards next Wednesday, looks like we have a chance of maybe a little bit more unsettled weather in the terms of maybe some showers and thunderstorms. But again, unfortunately right now, for all of you gardeners out there, it doesn't look like anything appreciable again at this time. So keep our fingers crossed that maybe we'll get something, but doesn't look like it. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the great weather that we're going to be having, and have a great week.
Everyone, I'm Jolie Atwood, and this is your community calendar. Enjoy a nice evening full of music. On Tuesday, August 25th at 6:30 p.m., the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having another concert on the Common. Stoney's Wicked Din is performing. Pre-registration is required for the event. Go to burlingtonrecreation.org to sign up. Come and grab a bite to eat for a cause. On Thursday, August 27th from 5 to 9 p.m., Women-Aid of Burlington will be having a pizza fundraiser at the Flatbread Company in Bedford. All proceeds will support Women-Aid's COVID response. Put on your thinking caps. On Monday, August 31st, the Burlington Public Library will be having a virtual adult trivia night. Everyone is welcome and pre-registration is required. For more questions about signing up, email the reference desk at ref@burlingtonpl.org. I'm Jolie Atwood, and that was your community calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo is Nature in Action. It was sent in by Todd Duggan and shows a bee enjoying some time in a flower. He says the bees love the Rose of Sharon flowers at his house. It's all part of the pollination process at work. Thanks for the photo, Todd. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your family, friends, members, summer activities, pets, neighbors, whatever's going on in your yard, whatever you think is interesting and want to share with us. Email your photos to BCAT at bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Robert Paris, Tad Stefanak, John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, and Jolie Atwood with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us.